A short story by Paul McCann, The Man Who Lives Down the Track. Somewhere near West Virginia, down a windy track, the mist lay thick over a little cabin in the woods. Outside the cabin door, a man with a long hillbilly beard was chopping up some firewood for the winter ahead. He was singing to the cow nearby, who would moo along at times as he sang.
It's a long way to Temporary. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to Temporary, to the sweetest girl I know.
A man appeared from nowhere with a backpack, and he called out to Peter, "Good morning!" Bill couldn't hear, so he shouted a bit louder, "Good morning!" Peter just kept chopping the wood and singing,
"Goodbye, Piccadilly."
So the stranger walked over and he stood directly in front of Peter, who stopped singing and chopping wood.
"What can I do for you?"
Peter asked. "Good morning, sir. My name is Bill. My truck broke down on a track a few miles back, and I've been walking for hours and made my way to this track. I've got to get back to West Virginia. Am I going the right way?"
"It all depends,"
Peter replied. What do you mean? It depends on what?"
"It depends on how much money you can pay me for the information bill. And by the way, my name is Peter. Don't often see many people around here."
Bill smiled and took out his wallet and handed over $10. Peter said,
"Okay then. Well, let me tell you, Bill, you're a long way from West Virginia, and you're on my land, so if you don't mind, I'd like you to get off my property."
Bill looked puzzled. "I just gave you $10.
"I answered your question,"
Peter replied and started singing.
"It's a long way to Temporary. It's a long way to go."
Bill walked away, cursing under his breath. "Bloody stupid old miserable blank-minded hillbilly bully!" Peter shouted back.
"You might be right, stranger, but I'm not the one who's lost."
Bill shouted back. "I hope your stink weight of a shack blows down in a storm and your cow runs out of milk." Peter again started singing.
"When Irish eyes are smiling, she's like a morning spring."
Bill walked off and Peter looked at Nellie and said,
"He'll be back."
About 10 minutes later, Bill came back walking along the track from another direction to where he had left. Peter was still chopping the wood.
"Hey, stranger, are you still trying to get back to West Virginia?"
"What's going on?" Peter asked.
"I don't know, you tell me. What's going on, stranger?"
"It's a strange track. I don't know how I got back here," Peter replied.
"Yeah, it's a strange track, all right, you're on, and it's not often I get to see people round here."
"I'm a little confused. Have I been just walking around in circles?"
"Bill, the thing is, you really have no idea where you are, do you?"
Well, I know I'm lost, but I just want to get back to West Virginia. Could you please tell me what direction I should go in?
Well, I keep mostly to myself here, and the only company I have is Nellie over there. I've been living in these woods for a long time. So if anybody would know where West Virginia is, it's me. I'm telling you, Bill, you'll never find your way there from here.
Peter, I have a wife in West Virginia. You must be worried where I am. My radio broke down in the truck and I couldn't send her a message. Would you please help me? I've got a mobile phone I could use just to call my wife.
Even if I had a mobile phone, Bill, well, there's no service around these parts. The woods are too thick, and maybe I should tell you, there's no way out of these woods.
Bill looked worried, and he said, Peter, I have to get back to West Virginia. Can you please help me? Peter just smiled, and he said,
Have you heard the story about the old man who lives down the track?
What story?
Well,
Peter looked up at the sky, and he took a deep breath.
There's a story of a man who lived with his mother, Elsie, in a small wooden cabin in these woods. They say he went mad drinking moonshine and eating strange mushrooms. One night under the full moon, he took an axe and he killed her. He buried his mother in a shallow grave. And ever since that day, they say, a curse is upon the land, and anyone who would stray on this track would walk in circles for an eternity.
The look of shock and terror on Bill's face. That's nonsense. I don't believe that.
Well, suit yourself. They say that Elsie's ghost walks the track at night. So let's just wait and see, huh? They also say Elsie's cabin blew down in the storm, and after it was rebuilt, it was transported from place to place, from track to track, on a truck by different people on different properties, and they say the truck driver's name was a man called Bill, who had a son called Peter, who also came from West Virginia. People had many occupations, but Peter just wanted to be a country singer. But his father, Bill, wouldn't let him pursue the career, and he sent him to work as a wood chopper. Bill just drove his truck every day, carting hay and cows to the slaughterhouse and coals to the colliery, and he hauled timber into the town.
Bill was getting a bit anxious and worried. It's a lot of rubbish. Can you tell me the way to West Virginia, please?
I'll give you just one chance. What's it worth to you if I can bring you to West Virginia?
I'll give you $1,000. The old hillbilly ran his fingers through his beard, and he walked over to the old shed, and then he opened the doors and he started up the old truck that was inside, drove it out, and he called Bill.
So where's the money, Bill?
Peter said, It's in the bank. I'll get it for you when we get to West Virginia.
Okay then, in you get.
Peter jumped in and off they went. As they drove along the track to West Virginia, a woman came out of the door just before they left and waved, and Peter waved back, and Bill said, Who's that? Who's that?
Bill said. Peter replied, It's my mother, Elsie. She was sent into an asylum about 3 years ago, but I broke her out and I took her back home, where she lives with me here.
Bill was horrified. Peter steered the old truck down the track through the woods, singing his favourite song.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is older, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country road, take me home.
Eventually, the truck pulled up in West Virginia. He pulled over to the side of the road and he looked into Bill's eyes and he said,
I want $1,000 before you go. And when I'm gone, you can tell everyone that you met the man who lives down the track.
Bill went to the bank and he withdrew $1,000 and he gave it to Peter, who drove off. A few days later, he returned to the woods with a mechanic to retrieve his broken down truck. And he wanted to go and thank the strange old hillbilly, but somehow he couldn't find the track to the old cabin. And since that day, Bill has retold the story over and over about the old hillbilly in the woods, and no one has ever seen or heard of the old hillbilly ever again. The end.